Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope all of you are fine and doing well. So, the topic here we are going to discuss it is the electroplating process. So, this topic is basically new to you. So, simple electroplating is a type of process which is called as the electrolytic process. Now, in this process, a thin layer of one metal get deposited on another metal surface. So, this is basically the process of deposition of or depositing the metal. For example, here this is the one metal and this is the another metal. And after the electroplating process, what just happened? This is the metal blue and this is the metal. It get stuck to the other metal or it get deposited on the surface of the other metal. This process is known as the electroplating process. What just happened in this process? The metal ion is reduced and a solid metal is deposited on the surface called the simple electroplating process. So, why do we use this process? This process is just used to protect the metals. This process is used to protect the different types of metals from the process of corrosion. So, in this way, we may protect the metals from corrosion as well as rusting, and this process is also used to improve the appearance of the metal's surface or to for the visual appeal it is used. Basically, the principle of the electroplating is that it is just established by the use of the electrolytic cell. It just happened with the help of the electrolytic cell, and that electrolytic cell is the one in which the anode and cathode works, and the anode is metal made that is to be deposited. For example, here this will work as anode and this will work as a cathode. So the metal that is going to be deposited on the other, it will works as anode, and the metal that is being deposited, it is known as the cathode or it will works as cathode. So the process of oxidation will takes place at anode and the process of reduction will takes place at the cathode. So this was a simple principle of the electroplating. Now we have different types of the electroplating. We have basically three types. The number one, we have tin electroplating, in which the tin get deposited on the surface of the metal. Then we have the silver electroplating, and the last one we have it's chromium electroplating. So these three metals get deposited on the surface of the other metals, and they just be electroplated on the surface of the other metals. And all that process, as it is a chemical type of process, so for this process, we need a cell. That cell is basically called as an electrolytic cell. Now, what is the basic process in this electroplating? Here we have the procedure of electroplating. First of all, we have to take an electrolytic cell. This is electrolytic cell. We have to fill up it with an electrolyte. Likewise, if we are using the silver, so we will take here the electrolyte like silver nitrate. On the other hand, here we have a spoon that needed to be electroplate or that needed to be plated, so it will works as cathode and it will be attached to the negative end of the battery. And the silver rod here it is working as anode as it is electroplated over the spoon. So silver spoon is acting as a node. What does just happen? The simple process is there. The silver from the silver rod comes into the solution in the form of silver positive, and the electrons will move from anode towards the cathode. So the process of oxidation will take place at anode. On the other hand, as these electrons are moving from anode to cathode, when these electrons will reach over there, the silver from the solution goes towards the cathode and gains the electron and started to get deposit over the surface of the spoon. So here the process of gain of electrons takes place. So that's why this is basically known as the reduction process. And overall, The type of reaction is a redox reaction in which both the oxidation and reduction are taking place in simultaneously on one side and the other side. So the metal that is to be plated it is made cathode, and the metal that is electroplated over the other it is made anode. Always you just keep it in mind, and we have to always choose the electrolyte which is the salt of that metal which is to be electroplated over the surface of the other metal. This was a simple procedure of the electroplating. After this we have the main reactions of the electroplating. Here at anode, the silver which is present in the solid state in the form of electrode, it just loses the electrons and carries the charge positive and comes into the solution in the form of cation by lose the electron. So this process is known as the oxidation process or oxidation of the iron that takes place at anode. Now electrons will move from anode to cathode, where we have just put up the spoon that is needed to be plated with the silver. So here the silver that is present in the aqueous solution, it goes towards the cathode and gains the electrons, and the process of gaining of electron is basically known as the reduction process. After the gain of electrons, it undergoes reduction and reduces to the silver solid as on the surface of the spoon, and it get deposited over the surface of the metal. So this is a simple reaction that takes place in the process of electroplating. One is oxidation and the other is reduction. The overall this process is simple a redox reaction. So this was all about today's lecture. I hope you guys understand. And if you have any queries, you may ask me about that in the comment section. And here we have some common examples of the electroplating, which is just silver plating the tablewares along with the plating with jewelry. Here maybe the plating of cutlery and steel, and the plating of the steel. All that just takes place as the applications of the electroplating. The next topic that we will discuss it is the chromium and the copper electroplating in detail. For that time, you guys keep learning and have a good day.